person. Now, another thing we all need to remember is the hierarchy of living. Abraham Maslow was a psychologist or a psychology researcher, very, very famous. Everyone knows him. If you have studied psychology, you know what I'm talking. Everyone. He gave a hierarchy of living. And the hierarchy of living, I suggest you pause this video and go to Google Images and type Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of living. Some people call him Abraham Maslow, some people call him Maslow. It depends on where you come from. It's okay, either ways. Okay, so Abraham Maslow, just type and see hierarchy of living, and you will see his triangle or a pyramid that shows the needs, human needs, the basic needs, and then goes forward until the top one, that is the self-actualization. So what he says is, if needs are met, they are no more motivation. The ultimate conclusion of the hierarchy of living is, if needs are met, they are no more motivation. So if you're talking to somebody who has his needs of food taken care of, you cannot convince them to eat food. This is for selling, mainly for people who are interested in learning to sell. If you are talking to a prospect who already has taken care of his needs of his food and his shelter, you cannot convince him easily to buy food and shelter. So always, now I'm using the word so because I do need it, okay? So what I'm saying here is, remember, always, if you are a salesman and you are talking to somebody to convince him to buy something, you gotta see where do they exist in the hierarchy of living. What need has been fulfilled? Find something beyond that. This philosophy will help you. Even in your personal relationships, if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to persuade somebody, to see where do they exist on the hierarchy of living. It's a difficult thing to understand, but after spending time doing some brainstorming, spending time thinking, you will be able to assess where exactly do they stand and how you can communicate with such a person. Always look where the person is on the hierarchy of. Another thing we need to remember is, fear of loss is way more than the fear of gain. So if you can tell a person the negative impact on his health, if somebody is smoking, somebody you love the most is smoking, for example, and you want him to quit smoking, you got to tell him the harmful effects rather than benefits. Harmful effects are way more powerful in persuading somebody from quitting a bad habit or taking the right decision, because loss, the feeling of losing something, is way more powerful. So that's another thing I want to mention. Brian Tracy has mentioned this. You can listen to him and you will find out that according to Brian Tracy, the power of losing or the feeling of losing something is way more gaining something. So you can mention the losses the person can have if they continue with the negative life. This will convince, especially the parents or the clinicians, counselors, psychologists who are dealing with patients and they have difficulty in convincing their patients to quit bad habits. Remember, focus on the loss. They're way more powerful. Maybe mention 5 losses and 2 benefits, 5 losses and 2 benefits, and you will see there will be a difference in their life. And the best way is, ideally, in terms of the clinical encounter, or if you're a coach and you're dealing with your client, let them decide what are the negative 5 losses. Ask them, what do you think are the negative consequences of this habit, what you have? And what are the 2 positive impacts? What are the 2 positive aspects of continuing this habit, of not continuing this bad habit, for example? When they themselves come out with -5 negative points and 2 positive points, they will eventually realize that yes, it is something they should quit. The chances of quitting a bad habit is humongous, or increases manifold, if you show them the losses. And if they show themselves the losses, if you let them decide. And same with the benefits. Lesser benefits, more losses, and losses are more powerful, as we already know now.